But you can see... Stop! No! This is a bad time! Why? I can't stop and eat right now. Please stop dying, will you? Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode of Scrap Mechanic with me, Spacefish, out here just enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather right now in the game. And we are still out here in our base. In the last episode, if you'll remember, we did finally finish off this automated watering system. I'm honestly really happy about the way that it works. It finally works just fine, like a charm. No worries at all anymore, and I think we are going to get to using it as well today. But if we have a look right here, at the time of the day, we're at 11:18, and I do kind of want to avoid having a second wave without using fertilizer if that's possible. So I've done some research, and on the site that SpaceCube linked me, there is a mention that at the beginning of a day from 4:30, the scanning starts in terms of like if there is illegal farming, and then that triggers the waves. So I think we're going to be aiming to start planting our crops just after 4:30. We're going to make it a bit more this time around. I'm thinking we're planning to probably plant around like 20 crops. I've kind of used that tool that SpaceCube provided right there, which honestly the tool is super awesome and handy, and calculated how many I can do, and 20 seems to be easy enough. That's just a level 2 wave, which I think should mean that we expect like in the first wave 1 hay button, 4 totes or something, which I think I can deal with. So that's going to be the plan right there in terms of farming. But other than that, I think there's a lot more things on the list right here today. For a start, if we look down here, you can see I've got a large chest in here, and I've got 1 vacuum pump in here, and I've got 1 vacuum pump up there, because, well, we do have a good bunch of plans for today. Plans starting then with a suggestion once more by SpaceCube, which I thought was absolutely awesome. That was something I actually never really thought about, at least not in that way. And his suggestion being that instead of what was like my original plan of what we were going to do eventually when I actually had the mats for it, because it was going to be super expensive, I planned to just go and get these pipes here all the way over from the sea line to actually retrieve the water for our automated farming system. Now, if you look at that though, you can see that that's going to be pretty darn expensive. Now, his alternative suggestion, I really like that, was to just extend the grid that the water tank sits on all the way to out there, which we're just going to do with some scrap stone blocks, and then put the vacuum pump, for that matter, onto the end of that grid, and just connect the two up because they're on the same grid. And that sounds awesome. I hope that is going to work out just that way. In theory, if this is in rendering distance, it should. And we're definitely going to give it a go, and, well, just hope for the best. And in theory, that's then going to nicely make us a good bit of water, and we're never ever going to actually even have to refill this thing, which would be super great indeed. Now, what I am going to do, though, is I'm actually going to go up on a lift, and we're going to go up very high, because I want to make sure that whatever vehicle I use can still pass under this, well, whatever we're going to call this that I'm going to build. You know, the stone pipe. We'll surely find some name for that eventually. So I'm going to get this all the way to up like here, and that should hopefully be fine. And then we're going to, from below, just extend this thing out, and, well, it's going to actually take us a minute to make all that, but we are going to get started on that. We're just going to keep pulling things out, and we're going to go till we are all the way at the shoreline, and then we're just kind of going to bring it down. The other advantage with this, honestly, really being that hopefully no bot will ever reach this long pipe thing that we are building up there. Now, it does not really look like the 256 scrap stone blocks that I have will be quite enough for that, but honestly, I do not really mind that, because the more I can get rid of, the better for us, honestly. We have got way too many of these. If you'll remember, the whole small chest is full of those, and I think my large chest is already quite spammed with these scrap stone blocks again as well. So, honestly, the more we can get rid of doing this, the better. Now, the other thing I'm probably going to have to watch out with is actually any bots running at me while I just look all the way up. And, wow. I think we are just, like, a third of the way there. This is probably going to be quite a long process, though. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to place a quick cut. And I'll be back with you once we're actually closer to the actual sea itself. Alright, so we're back, and halfway through this construction, I actually had the idea to actually test out if this will even work for us, and unfortunately it doesn't. So, this whole thing, we're just gonna not do that anymore. We're gonna keep that as is. I'm gonna have to remove this thing. If we just have a quick look here, as you can see, I mean, for a start, we only have one attachment point, which is the one for the switch, I guess. But if we pull this all the way to over here, you can see that we cannot attach the vacuum pump to the actual water container. Reason being that you do actually need to attach the water pump with these ports, as opposed to something like the water cannon, which you can just do with this connection right here. Alternatively, though, we could just bring over the... That works, right? I guess that's more what Spastic Cube meant. Like, I just take this thing and then do that, basically. Because I can attach that from anywhere. Okay. Yep, alright, that is going to be the new plan. So we will actually take the water container with us then, and just attach it to the water cannon from all the way over there instead. So, bit of a change of, like, approach. But I guess that is what Spastic Cube meant after all, and that's going to be the way that we will be going with this. So I will continue doing this, probably for another few minutes, and then we are going to be back in just a second. Alright, back we are. As you can see, I am now just about to finally finish the last bits and bobs here of this whole construct. And as you can also probably see, it has in the meanwhile actually gotten quite dark out, which is a good thing, because that means that we will be able to get to the farming part of things in just a second as well. But first things first here, I do want to extend this thing far enough out so we are actually above the water, and then we're going to go and get that thing somewhat... I think we're just going to get it to poke into the water, basically. And we're going to attach all the things alongside it. So, I'm just actually going to put the vacuum pump here that I already should have in my inventory somewhere. Up here. Beautiful. And that way we can maybe already get this part going. Now, I'm not quite sure we will finish this just now, though, because I'm pretty sure we're starting to get rather close to 4:30, which... I can't set the direction just yet, apparently. But 4:30, that means, of course, that we are going to get to farming then. And if we have a quick look in our logbook right here, it is 1 AM. So we do indeed have the time to run over real quick and grab the water tank. But what we also are going to want to have is a switch, which... sorry for that one. I don't think... we have one at the moment, so we'll have to check that out. We'll maybe have to quickly make a new one. Shouldn't be an issue, you know. We've got all the electronic circuits in the world, so the more switches we make, the better for us, because honestly, I'm starting to drown in friggin' electronics circuits here, like, yeah, as you can kind of see. But let's have a quick look here. Then we do have all the stuff that we need. Beautiful. And I think I also have a huge pile of electronic circuit boards already in my inventory, because of course I went around and farmed some POIs and farmed all the good things in the world to actually make these bits and bobs that we do now need for the farm. But let's quickly actually wait for the machine to finish, or rather see that it already is finished, and then we're going to go and head over and get the water tank set up real quick. We've got another 2 hours and 30 minutes before the next time, well, before the whole farming, well, illegal farming detected cycle thing is going to take over, and we are going to want to start farming, so that should hopefully be enough to get this thing done right now. And let's just carry this water tank over for a minute. Now, this thing is pretty darn heavy, so that's going to take us a minute. But in theory, then, once that water tank is sitting at the shoreline, we should hopefully be able to, with our connection tool, pull out a connection to all the way over at the very end, and be happy ever after, because we finally don't even have to make water drips by car anymore, but everything's gonna function 100% automatically. So, sounds very nice. Let's hope that it is gonna be that nice. Oh, okay. I suppose that could be an issue. Because how am I gonna put this on the other side of this? There we go. Boop. Connected. Beautiful. Okay, just barely got to put that onto the other side here. We're going to switch the direction of that water pump up. We're going to connect that water pump up to here. And then we're going to click. Slurp. Okay, so that's filling up perfectly. Now, we have a long walk to make all the way over to the farm without letting that mouse button go. If I let that mouse button go, that's going to be very annoying. But you can see... Stop! No! This is a bad time. Why? I can't stop and eat right now. Please stop dying, will you? Oh, God. We're nearly there. You could see that red dot from all the way out there, I suppose. We're going to get that connection going very, very, very quickly. Boop. And it's going. Beautiful. And in theory then, and let's actually test that theory out. In theory, if we click this button... Water! Look at that! Oh wait, all the other water that we already had just disappeared. That's interesting. So if you leave a plot water that doesn't have a plant on it for too long, it becomes unwatered, I guess. There we go though, 4:30. It's actually bright out already, which is kind of crazy. Farm's already getting water, which is beautiful. I'm just going to go and quickly check out which crops we want, I think. Let me just stop that. Beautiful. And then we are going to go and plant some things, so I'll be back in 1 sec. Alright, so in theory, we can plant, and I need to eat another, no, not a tomato, maybe like a banana or something. In theory, we can plant up to 29 crops without getting a new wave. And I think this was a 5x5, right? Yeah, so we've got 25, so we can just fill this thing up with however much we want. Now, I did check back in between episodes at the traders to see how much we actually need for the orange seeds and the, I think, blueberry seeds. We need oranges and blueberries, I think, for the first gun. And we do actually need 30 tomatoes and 30 red beets. So we're not quite there yet. And even through farming today, we're not going to get quite there yet, but we are going to thus need another 9 tomatoes, or maybe, you know, we just make 10 and another 20 red beets. So that's why I'm saying we are not gonna be able to fully finish this today. We've got 10. We are gonna do 15 red beets, I think, and then we're just gonna add on some tomatoes, which I don't have the seeds to. I do. Then we're going to add on 10 tomatoes right here. Beautifully. And that should leave us with a level 2 wave, I hope, and not absolutely wreck this farm. So, fingers crossed right there. Well, that's like automated farming to the max then. Thanks so much for the suggestion, Spastic Cube. Really appreciate it. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. That's going to be great. Now, 17 hours till the first wave. Hopefully, after the first wave, we can already have the stuff farmed, not risk another one, so we will see about that. If that doesn't work, you know, if we want to do it a bit faster, we can probably resort to fertilizers and get things going a bit faster that way, so we only have 1 wave, not 2. But yeah, we'll see what happens to this, alright? So this is all planted. Now, the next thing on the list is going to have to be to actually get the crops out to the packaging station, and then the packaged things out from the packaging station to the trader. Now, we do have our trusty truck here, which is far from finished though, and I think still has propulsion issues, to be honest, and the whole half back is wiggling, so I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to use that just yet, especially since I'm pretty sure I have to stick a huge ton of metal into this thing still before it can actually get going. Also, what I really notice is that this thing is lacking a few attachment points back here. If you see, like, I think I should connect this to the frame at the very least. Like, the frame is basically only connected to the rest of the vehicle in the middle, it feels like. And there's, like, no connections on the back half. Like, this is the only 2 pieces that Go on, wait. Leave this alone. I'm just talking about how fragile this vehicle is, and then the freaking farmbot actually comes around the corner to go and show me how fragile it actually is. Oh, God. But yeah, so these 2 blocks, if these are gone, the entire back part of the suspension is gone. Which, you know, one could argue that that is a bit of an issue, right? And that we should fix that, and I think one would probably be very right arguing that. So what we are going to do is we're going to actually make a tad bit of tier 2 metal real quick, and we're going to fix that very issue to at least make sure that this is a bit more reinforced. But as I said, I don't really think that, honestly speaking, the truck is at a status just yet where we can use it for these runs. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities after the fact where we can use it for this. I think for the time being, we're just going to use our exploration vehicle, though. And hopefully put something together where we can just, I don't know, we're just going to slap like 2 or 3 containers onto here and hopefully make it to the traders. Like, maybe we can also just use this to deliver the things, and then the packages themselves we pick up with the truck. But we would need to solve the propulsion issues of the truck, because right now that's not really all too usable. But one way or another, the way that these things work, as far as I'm aware, for delivery, is that you have to kind of have a vacuum pump at a decent-ish height, and then just approach a port, basically, and turn on the vacuum pump. So it would be something like this. Now, yeah, you know, can I take this off? Actually, no. But can I? Can I assemble this separately and just weld it together and kind of weld it onto things and off of things to move them around instead of just having it statically on this one vehicle so that I can easier move it back to the truck eventually, if that makes sense? So, like, I would do something like this, right? No. Okay. That doesn't work. This just works with, like, actual grids, not just like functional parts, I suppose. So that is going to be the setup, though. Like basically the fruits would go in here, right? And we can probably already stack a few then into there to avoid actually accidentally eating them all. And then we would need like some sort of switch, some sort of button to actually get things spewed out. And on theory, we already have a button. Do we just want to use the button? No, we're going to get a switch, I think. I'm going to need some scrap metal again. We're going to grab that. Going to make a switch for that, and we are also going to grab this right here, which I'd already forgotten about in the meanwhile. So, let's go and get this switch right here going. Let's put the scrap metal back in, and while that is being fabricated, we're going to go and get ourselves to over here and actually fix that weird, well, pretty pressing issue that we have with this vehicle at the moment. So let's widen this for once a bit. Like that, just make the base a bit beefier, and then we're kind of gonna connect this here somehow. Now, I can't really see. If I put a lift here and lift myself up, is that in the right spot? It is. Okay, so that helps. We're gonna go and basically, that is not under a movable part yet, is it? I don't think so. Yep, okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Basically that way kind of solidify the connection of the actual frame to the actual vehicle. Now back here we can of course not have a connection going really, because why is this hanging off like that? We haven't built this thing for so long that I'm kind of wondering about some things here. Oh, is this like supposed to be the end of the ramp eventually? I think it is. Kind of confused. Oh, right, no, yeah, no, makes sense. Okay, but yeah, so that should make that a bit more solid. I don't think it really helps in terms of weight redistribution, and yeah, no. So that is still a bit of an issue. Maybe if we tune the power of the vehicle a bit, we can sort of help that. Wait, I had an engine bonnet on this, didn't I? Click. Hey, look at that. Beautiful. So maybe if we tune that down a bit to like that level. You know, it becomes usable, but it also becomes very slow. Oh boy. Just about to munch up my other vehicle there. Whoopsie. Okay. Let me get out of this. And let me close the engine bonnet back up. We'll have to think about that, I think. We'll have to think about it, see how it goes. I also think I've... What happened to you, buddy? I also think that I have got some fuel from my expeditions, which I would actually like to fuel this, use to fuel this thing back up. So let's do that, and let me go and grab that switch now, so we can actually get that, well, delivery unit for our exploration vehicle done. I mean, honestly, this is going to be super easy to just move over eventually to something else, so that shouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Now, I'm not going to connect that just yet, because I'm honestly kind of slightly afraid that I accidentally click that button and I push all the things out of there, which I don't want to have happen. So we're going to leave that be as is for the time being, but eventually we're going to connect that up, and then we can use that nicely for that. Let me test out the balance with this real quick. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. That seems to be working just fine. So that is beautiful and wonderful and working just as intended. Now, it seems that in the meanwhile, already 8 hours have passed on these plants, and let's check them out. I think they've grown by 1 stage, but there's another 2 stages of growth. Can you actually, let me know maybe if you guys know down below, can you actually, without fertilizers, avoid 2 waves before you harvest plants? Or at least triggering 2 waves before you harvest plants? Because I don't think it's possible right now. I think you do need fertilizers if you want to achieve that. So if you know, please let me know. It would be great to actually get an idea about that. I think that unfortunately that is kind of a bit limited, but I'm sure we will find out. But with that said, we've got that set up. We've got a delivery mechanism set up for our delivery vehicle, and we've got a bot arm right there that I totally forgot about, that we can actually quickly get into the refinery to get that going. Alright, I just thought there was a bot standing there. But yeah, so with that said, I think I'm going to end it off here a bit early. I'm probably just going to do the wave without you guys, because I don't think that doing bot waves repeatedly is like the most enjoyable thing in the world probably to you. If you do want to see more of those, let me know down below in the comments. We can certainly change that, but for today, that's going to be the way we do it, and I'm probably going to try and farm a bit more between episodes, so that hopefully by the time the next episode comes around, I have all the vegetables ready, so that we can actually go and get some vegetables packaged and actually go out to the trader, trade it for some new seeds, and then move on ever further towards that first beautiful gun. But with that said, I think I'm going to end it off here for today. I hope you all very much enjoyed the episode. As usual, if you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does always help out a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider hitting that subscribe button right down below, as well as that bell icon to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. And with all that out of the way, as usual, everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.